Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay, we are ready.
Is that a trick question?
Yeah, it was a trick. Oh, shit.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome to Bourbon and Blunts.
We are back. New episodes here this week. We are recording on a bright and early Saturday morning.
That's why we have coffee and no bourbon today.
Coffee and no bourbon today, but we will toke on the cheech this morning.
What?
Toke on the cheech.
It sounded like something else.
What did you think I said?
Choke on the... My mind just went somewhere
All
else.
right, toke on the cheech.
Toke on the cheech.
So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. If you are watching and haven't subscribed yet on YouTube, please do. Also, you can find us and listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts as well. And here we are today with our, we have new, you have your questions today, buddy? Did you
I'm
find
pulling them up right now.
Oh, okay. We have new questions for us today.
For what's inside you.
For what's inside you. Plus, we have some other interesting topics we're going to talk about today. We're on two podcasts today that we're doing. We have a couple articles pulled up here, so we'll decide which ones we want to do once we get into that.
So what's inside? We're back to the SM7Bs for microphones. Next podcast, we'll have some different microphones.
Okay, what microphones are we doing next podcast, buddy?
I'm going to pull a couple off the shelf.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I like it, buddy. I like it. How was I haven't talked to you in a little while. How was the week?
It's been a long, busy, insanely busy at the shop.
That's good. Because I keep saying this, but I was a little nervous you were going to have to sleep on my couch.
Yeah, you should lower that mic, by the way.
Oh.
It's right in it's like at your eyeballs.
I'm a little guy.
You're like, and that's where I see the mic when I'm looking at you.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, that's
okay,
better.
that looks better.
Yeah, busy week. Usually I'm home by 12, 1 o'clock.
You ain't getting home until 4.
4 or 5 o'clock every day.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Good, buddy.
Yeah, good. Yeah, busy.
Yeah, because you have a little bit more pep in your step.
Do I?
I think so. You have a little more pep in your step because I think you got a little bit more jingle in your pocket.
Well, not yet.
Oh, that's right. You haven't got paid yet.
Terms, bro. I don't see that till next month.
I was gonna say to you, I forget now. Yeah, well, that's good, buddy. That's good. Trying to think what happened with me this week. Oh, I sent you some mock-ups. Did you get that yesterday?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it once we're done this podcast.
I'm talking about shirts, by the way.
Yeah. Shirts. So you need some
Playeras for you people that don't understand English.
playeras.
Playeras.
That's t-shirts.
Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought it was camiseta.
T-shirt. This is in Mexico. So maybe it's I don't know if it's a little different in
That's
like
true. There's
Spanish.
there's definitely different terminology.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Should we get into our first segment of the day?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's hit it, buddy.
It's time for
What's Inside You? All right.
come
What's
up with some
inside
animation for that too.
Oh yeah. So if you haven't watched the last episode that Slang put up, he did a little bit of animations in there, so it actually looks a little bit more professional.
It's towards the end. Probably not a lot of people see it because I don't expect somebody to watch 40 minutes of the video.
That's true.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
So it's at the end of the video. It's the Words of Wisdom segment with digital slang.
Yeah.
And it's just a little tiny animation that comes in with the butterflies.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it kind of fit, right?
It really does.
I was editing another video and I just saw that and I was like, oh, that would look good for this.
Yeah.
And then I tried it and I was like, that's
that
kind of
does look good.
perfect.
I also saw those other paintings of the aliens, me and you as aliens.
Yeah.
Dude, they look fantastic.
I know.
They look awesome.
I know. I think they're getting shipped here. I think she's going to ship them here.
Okay, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
And that's the artist. Shout out to Aylin. That's the artist who wants to do the manga, so we can do the voiceover.
Yes. Alan, please, let's do it, baby. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think we'd be very successful at it.
Yeah.
And I'm down.
So where we're at with that right now is we have to come up. For those who don't know, on YouTube, if you do voiceover to like fan-made manga, those channels do unbelievably well.
What does manga mean?
It's art. It's like a comic book, but in for like animation.
Okay.
So it's basically a comic book, but it's from Japanese animation.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
So it's just fan made, but this is fan made art. So that's what we're gonna have because it's fan made.
Okay.
And it's just basically a comic book
All
with
right.
voiceover.
So we have to do the storyline, is what you're saying.
So yes. So one of the guys that work for me, Nick, he knows the stories well. So I'm gonna start talking to him about it on Monday, just to kind of get like a
an idea.
Yeah.
Can we just make up our own stories?
Well, we're going to. But he knows a lot about the whole show. Like, you don't know anything about the show.
I know zero about it.
Right. So there's certain things that I want to keep the same.
There's like a universe, maybe.
Oh, it's a whole universe.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I see what you're saying.
But different characters.
Right.
And we'll each when we do voiceovers, we're each going to take a character. How much fun
that
will
would be a lot of fun.
I mean, we'll have to do multiple characters.
That's fine.
But it's going to be so much
That's
fun.
fine. I just this just popped in my head. I didn't realize that with The Simpsons, there was a female who basically did like, I don't know, I'm probably exaggerating a little bit, but she did like half the voices for The Simpsons.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Yeah, she did Bart.
Yeah,
Who else? I think
it's usually one actor that does multiple voices.
Yeah.
Because I would love to do voiceover.
Did you know? Apparently, like the length of your neck has to do with how well you can do different voices. Like if you have a longer neck, apparently there's. I don't know what the mechanics are from a voice standpoint, but you know who Kyle Dunnigan is?
No.
Oh, you gotta look up Kyle Dunnigan on look him up on Instagram. He does all these like impersonations, and he does like the AI, like he does Trump so well. And like
a lot of people do Trump really well.
Do you know like the face swap thing?
Yeah.
So he'll do a face swap.
Oh, you know what? I think I know who you're talking
All right,
about.
when we're done, we're gonna look up Kyle Dunnigan. It's hilarious.
By the way, did you see Trump got arrested?
Yeah, for the fourth time.
And Giuliani and the whole crew, his whole crew. But they walked out 20 minutes later.
Yeah, I know. Well, like, did you see his mugshot?
I didn't look at it. I don't care.
All right. You know, and I can see that being on a million T-shirts, too,
course.
by the way, right?
Of course.
It's what is really scary. Now, and I know we're supposed to do our What's Inside You, but this, you know, what's really scary about that is the weaponization of the DOJ. I'm not really a big Trump fan, per se. However, it's like, I can really see, you know, the DOJ and people that are in power really trying to manipulate things to get him. And it's like, okay.
It's a witch hunt.
Yeah, because basically what they're doing is using like legal theory to try to create a case.
They're trying to get him on racketeering.
I know. And here's the thing. That's
like, what they did with the gangster back in the day.
Al Capone?
Yeah, because they couldn't
get him on a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But what's upsetting
it's like
is like, wait a minute, okay. And I'm like watching stuff on the news, and like you can see all these like news broadcasts, like, oh, this is you know, they're all solemn and like this is an attack on democracy and blah blah blah. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
They have an agenda.
I'm like, just look at the okay, who is supposed to call for war? Who's supposed to declare war according to the Constitution? Congress declares war. When was the last time we had Congress declare war? You know when the last time that was?
I don't think it's ever happened.
World War II was the last time. Every war since then, the president has basically declared war. That is illegal. That is what is that? That's an illegal action. I mean, just right there, right? Why aren't we locking every other president up?
Because they have an agenda against Trump.
There definitely is an agenda.
They don't want him to run again for president in 2024.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. And which, at the end of the day, I don't think he's what's best for the country, per se.
Yeah, but I think he would win.
Oh, I think he will definitely win.
Yeah.
I think he's going to get primaried for sure. I think he's definitely going to win. I'd really like to see. I'm a real big fan of Ramaswamy and a real big fan of Bobby Kennedy. Both of them from the two big parties. That would be my pick.
I could do without another Kennedy.
Have you listened to what Bobby Kennedy's talking about?
No, but just the family ties and the history. We need somebody like that's not a lifelong politician.
He's not. He's a lawyer. He was a lawyer. Yes, it's a political family.
Yeah, it's still he has political ties like no other.
Yeah, but this guy talks from the heart, man.
I'm gonna have to listen to him.
You should. You should. I think you'd be a fan. So, anyways, all right. Let's get into what's inside you. You want to go first, I'll
go first.
You go first, my good man.
Alrighty,
me matey.
We'll do a whole episode talking like pirates.
I think that would get annoying real quick.
I can't really talk like a pirate anyway, so it'd be like 3 words. I said the same 3 words the whole show. All right, question number 1. If you could invent a holiday, what would it be?
International Workout Day.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
How fun would that be if you like everybody had the day off, right? Or most people had the day off, and you saw everybody outside exercising, walking, smiling, then, I think it would be just create a nice sense of unison. I mean, we have International Pancake Day. We have International Ice Cream Day.
We have International Murder Day.
No, we don't.
I heard it yesterday. So every day on the way to work, I listen to this radio station, and they have fun facts.
Okay.
Like fun facts, and then he drops like a list of fun facts. But he always also lists, because every day is some stupid day.
Okay.
But there's like 4 or 5 things for every day.
Right.
And one of the ones yesterday was like National Murder Day. He was like, everybody celebrate Murder Day.
I find that very odd.
There's so many odd things that, like, every day has like 5 things now.
Yeah. I don't know.
We can name a day something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can name it.
Right. International Workout Day. That's what we're going to do.
All right.
Give me your second one there, big
All
dog.
right. If you can have a lifetime supply of anything, what
Peanut
would
butter.
it be? That was easy.
That was easy, buddy.
Yeah.
That was easy. All right.
That's a good one, though.
That is good, right?
It's a good one.
Peanut butter, like my buddy has a sticker on his water bottle that says, "Peanut butter is the glue that holds my life together."
I like chunky peanut butter, though.
I do too. Me too. Yeah. I put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah, it's gotta be chunky. It goes in my protein shakes, everything.
It's only though the peanut butter that I
You
get
eat all natural.
Yeah, but it's only just peanuts and salt, not peanuts. Peanuts and salt. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it could be both. I'm sure you go both ways.
Peanuts and salt.
Peanuts?
Because you know how some like Skippy, for example, has like hydrogenated.
Yeah.
That's trash peanut butter.
I'm sure everybody knows you're going all natural with the peanut butter.
Yeah, you got to, because those seed oils and all that nonsense that they put in there, it's unnecessary.
When you first
Plus the
open
sugar.
it, all the water's up top.
Yeah, that's
you
oil.
gotta mix it
That's
up.
oil that's up top.
You gotta mix it in.
Yeah, that's what I do. All right, you go now.
What was my first question?
If you could name a holiday, what would that holiday be?
It would be Football Sunday. Every Sunday during football season would be a holiday.
Isn't that kind of like an unspoken holiday
for America?
Yeah,
but I want it to be the world.
Okay, all right,
the world. Football. There's nothing better than Football Sunday, by the way.
I do wish that the day after the Super Bowl
was a holiday.
Absolutely. I wish that was.
Everybody should have off the day after the Super Bowl.
Agreed. The other thing, and this is kind of what sucks about living on the East Coast, is that football comes on so much later.
Yes, like 1 o'clock is the first game, but in like California, it's 10 a.m.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
And 1 o'clock for the second game in Cali, and it's 4 here.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah,
man, you can watch the late night game at whatever it is, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and
I mean, I'm so used to it, like it's normal. So I hate it. It's normal for me because I live here. So if I went there, it would feel not right.
It was great. I remember one year I was out in Arizona. I was getting my master's degree. I was out in Arizona, and the dog.
Can you hear the dog? There's my dogs.
Yeah, I was out in Arizona. I was taking a class for my master's degree, and I was sitting at a bar. It was like 4 o'clock, and the football game's on. I was like, "This is great! I'm awake. I can watch the whole game. I don't have to worry about going to work tomorrow. This is awesome."
Well, you know what it is? It's the late games, like the 8 o'clock games.
Yes, they suck.
They suck because they're usually open or running until about midnight. But over there, it starts at 5.
And then if I were to so I'm a Cowboys fan. So, but at the end, I barely even watch football anymore since COVID because that pissed me off.
Why are you a Cowboys fan?
Why are you a Giants fan?
Because I'm from up there.
You're from Central
Jersey, which is
that's not North Jersey.
It's closer to North than here.
Fair enough. Okay, listen.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I don't know why people's are Eagles fans that live in Jersey.
That's why I say that shit all the time. They bust on me all the time.
Yeah, why are you like the Eagles if you live in New Jersey?
Exactly.
I don't care if you're close to Philadelphia.
Well, it's because
well, actually, I can't.
I'm close.
I just contradicted my entire.
Yeah, but
because I was like, I don't care if you live close to Philadelphia. Well, I lived close to New York.
Here's a difference, dude. The Giants actually play in Jersey.
They do. They do.
You know what I mean? So like, you have a legit argument. The Giants actually play.
I like my hometown team.
Right, and they actually do play in New Jersey. So you asked me the question, why? The reason why is because my father's a Cowboys fan. The reason why he's a Cowboys fan, so I always have to lay this out for the whole history of it. My dad, born 1955, Cowboys became a franchise in 1960. My dad grew up on a farm. This is also why the Cowboys were called America's team, because they were also on, at the time, especially in the 60s, They were on every single Sunday nationwide. How many channels were on TV at the time?
Like 4.
Yeah, if that, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't really have much to pick from.
So that's what you watched.
Everybody in America watched the Dallas Cowboys. That's why they were called America's team.
Interesting.
Okay. Now, my father, growing up on a farm, loving Cowboys and Indians and all this sort of stuff as a child, he would watch the Dallas Cowboys every Sunday. And since growing up on a farm, loving Cowboys, Indians, and then you have the Dallas Cowboys play, he just associated everything, right? And that became his team. And then
then your team.
And then my team.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's why.
Okay.
Yeah. There you
I
go.
like the Giants because my father was a Giants fan, and that's what I watched.
Yeah.
Every week.
But you didn't have a good relationship with your father, so why?
I mean, I was young.
Yeah.
I was like, I was a child.
What time? When did you leave? How old were you?
I think I was around 12, 13.
12?
Yeah.
You never like, fuck you, Dad, and fuck you, Giants.
No, not the Giants.
Yeah.
Not the Giants.
Not the
No,
Giants.
not the Giants. You crazy? The Giants are great.
All right, buddy. Let's see. Okay. First question for you, my friend.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Can people change?
Only if they want to. You can't make someone change.
Okay.
I need to want to change.
Okay. All right.
That's the only way.
All right. I'm going to give you a follow-up question to this right now. This is still part of the first question. How do you help people change?
You can give advice,
Okay.
but that's really all you can do. You have to let them do it.
All right.
You can't change anybody.
Okay.
I believe you're a fool if you think you can change somebody.
I think you can help guide people.
You can guide them. That doesn't mean they're going to walk the path.
Very true. I think you can
That's
guide
just
them.
advice, though.
For sure. Okay. All right. Let's see. What was the other one? Is it essential to be a good person?
No,
All right. Why do you say that?
it's not essential. It is probably, what's the word? I would say you should be a good person. You should try to be a good person.
Yeah.
Is it essential to what? Essential to
I don't know.
Yeah, that's the
maybe
question.
society.
I mean, would it help society? Sure, of course. Will you get stepped on by people that are not good people?
Well,
you might.
Maybe, but I also think you got to define, well, what does it mean to be a good person?
Yeah, it's a broad question.
Right. What does it mean to be a good person?
I could be a good person and
because I feel like think of our society, dude. We're so interested in lying to people to protect their feelings.
yeah.
You know, we're so willing to lie to somebody because we're like, oh,
you don't want to hurt them.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
But is that being really a good person because you're lying to them?
You're still lying.
You're still lying.
Yeah.
Even though you're trying
to protect them, but maybe they don't want that.
And maybe that's not what they need either.
You're right. They might need the hard truth.
They might need the hard truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because
So
then they can move on.
exactly, right? So it's like, well, you might think that you're being a good person, but actually you're enabling and being destructive to that other
you're
individual.
leading them on by not giving them the truth.
Right. And the reality is you're not being a good person.
No, you're hurting them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, isn't that
You're
crazy?
hurting them.
Yeah. But so many people, I
But
think,
it happens every day.
It happens all the time, dude.
Every day.
All the
Probably
time.
millions of times a day.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. All right, what was my first question? Can people change? 100%. And as a matter of fact, we're never in a static state. We're always changing.
Yeah.
We're always changing. I mean, dude, if you looked at yourself at 20 years old, you wouldn't look like you did now. So you're changing, right? Your physical features have changed, right? And I think that is always the constant, that there is change, right? So you should embrace it. Now, when it comes to personality traits or behaviors or habits, sometimes people can get stuck in bad behaviors, bad habits.
It happens to
right?
everybody.
I think the way to help guide people to change is to call out those bad behaviors and bad habits. And I'm not saying do it in a derogatory way.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
For sure, absolutely. But if you're trying to help people recognize the error in their ways, it's like, hey, for example, my dad and I, he got all frustrated and blah, 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 blah. He blew up at me. And, I was just saying to him, like, hey, it's okay to make a mistake, I know you didn't want to blow up at me, but like take the responsibility. Come to me and say, hey, I'm sorry. Rather
That's good, but a lot of people are gonna blow their lid, like they're gonna fight back to something like that.
And why is that then? Well, the reason why they're fighting back is because maybe a couple things.
Well, it could
One,
be they're offended.
why would they be offended if
Because
you're calling them
somebody's-
out on a bad behavior?
Well, because they don't want to be called out.
They don't want to be called out. Why? Because there's this ego about the individual,
Absolutely.
right? Or maybe their ego, so that ego could be a little bit
Or
fragile.
maybe they enjoy it.
Maybe they do, right? Maybe that's.
But who's to say that maybe they enjoy it and to them it's a good thing? Just because you think it's wrong doesn't make it so.
Well, here's the other thing. If, let's say, Skylar comes to me and says, listen, that type of thing that you do, whatever it is, that type of thing that you do, like, it really freaking bothers me.
That's different, though. That's
but why is it different when it might not bother me?
No, but we were talking about calling somebody out for doing something wrong. But now you're talking about calling somebody out for hurting someone else.
Wouldn't that, if I did something wrong to you and I hurt you because of me doing something wrong, my behavior, is that not one and the same? Even though I might not think that what I did was necessarily wrong, it still hurt you.
Yeah, you would want to know about it.
And even though, like, I'm not responsible for your feelings, but dude, if I sat here and I fucking screamed at you and, belittled you.
You do every week. And you guys see it.
Listen, I'm the nicest person you ever met. I hate to tell you that, fella.
About all that. I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
If I was sitting there screaming at you and belittling you,
talking like a nice motherfucker.
you wouldn't like that. You wouldn't like that.
No.
That's not good behavior on my part. And if at the end of the day,
unless it was warranted.
But what if it wasn't warranted?
Well, then it's not good behavior.
Okay, so then if you were say, hey man, like, that really upsets me when
You're like, hey, bro.
Yeah, that really upsets me when you.
Why are you talking to me like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'd say, you know what, dude, like,
it's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. And so then now you call me out on that behavior. And so now next time when I want to replicate that behavior, I can say, wait a minute. I know that he's not going to like that.
Yeah.
And I need to curtail my behavior.
Not a lot of
bit.
people can do that, though.
But that's why I feel like gently to help people change their behavior, say, hey.
I'm a firm believer in electric shock.
Every time you do this, you're
Just
going
shock
to push
somebody.
the damn
I'll
button.
have the button, and I'll be able to shock you.
But when you this is like with communication. I love this form. You ever use iMessages? In communicating, I followed by an emotion
on
right?
an iPhone. That's what it's called.
Oh my god, fucking so stupid.
You know when you said that,
I didn't even think about
the
that.
entire world is going to be
iMessages
talking
all
about
the
their
time.
iPhones. Nobody's thinking about what you're talking about.
What an iMessage is it's you basically start.
You start everything with I.
With I
because you're taking responsibility.
Or I followed by a feeling. Like if you upset me, right? Hey man, I
don't appreciate what you just said.
Exactly. Or I'm like,
keep your gayness to yourself.
I feel hurt. I feel hurt when you do that. And it's because when you attack the person, you.
That's a direct assault.
Exactly. And now that person's backed into a corner.
And now they're gonna fight back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
But now if you take that off them and kind of
if
make
you
it neutral.
Just change the wording.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
And now
it makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference. And now we can help change.
Yeah, because you're not attacking me. You might just be voicing your opinion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Is it essential to be a good person? Well, I think the ultimate goal would be to try to be the best person you can be.
Yeah, that should be the goal.
Be the best person you can be.
What is a version of yourself?
Best version of yourself, right? And I think that is different from being a good person, right? During the pandemic, I saw. I still see this today. Stickers everywhere and freaking shirts and still people wearing masks that say, be kind or be a good person. So I'm like, well, what you're saying to me is that if I don't wear a mask, I'm not a good person?
Well, there are Karens out there like that believe that.
Right. And I'm like, where do you come off with feeling that way? Why do you feel that way?
They feel attacked because you're doing something that is unhealthy to them.
Okay.
Or they're scared.
Maybe so.
Well, that's what it is. It's from
right.
fear.
And we might actually get into an article talking
it's
about
all about fear.
It is all about fear, but it's like, well, being a good person means also telling the truth to others. Not
But that's the
lying
problem.
and
It's like we talked about earlier. People are going to tell these white lies to protect somebody's feeling.
Well, you're right. You're right. But I think I like the idea of being the best version of myself, being the best person that I can be. And
Hopefully you'll get there one day.
I hope
bro,
so too. I don't think I'll ever get. I think it's always a work in progress.
It should be always a work
It
in
does,
progress.
because-
You're never going to just be like, all right, I'm here now.
No,
And
it's always life is
I'm
always
perfect.
changing. Everything's always changing.
no, I'm perfect right now.
Yeah. Well, that beard's not perfect. You know, you got like a point.
Shut up. Yes, it's on purpose.
The point?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is longer. I usually just have a goatee, and I just have like some hair here.
Right.
And that's why this is longer than the sides.
Oh, okay. You got like a little devil chin.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, man, I feel like the growth of an individual is constantly changing. And I think you're always should be working on yourself.
It should be. I don't believe everybody always has growth.
No,
Some people are going to flatline.
for sure. But I also so then when you're flatlining, because we all flatline, I agree. When you're flatlining,
It's because it's not a steady growth. This isn't your life. Your life doesn't track like
your
this,
life
like
is not
straight up. It's like that, and
Exactly,
and that, and then sometimes down.
yes,
and then
it is not a
it's
linear
roller coaster.
progression. Absolutely, dude. So when you are flatlining, I think it's very important to do things or put things in your path that are challenging and hard, and then when you can maybe overcome them, that's where growth comes.
Well, yeah, you just can't quit, man.
No,
you just can't quit. It doesn't matter how hard things get. You can't quit.
Agreed, buddy. All right, my man. Any other comments you want to talk about with that?
No, that's good for that. For this week's
What's Inside You? That's right. What's Inside You? Hey, if you have, if you're listening on YouTube and you have any questions for us for What's Inside You, drop a comment below, and maybe we'll
feature your questions and we'll shout you out.
That's right. That's right. So, shall we switch gears, my friend?
Yes.
So I have a couple articles up.
Okay.
One of the things that has been kind of very hot as of the past few weeks, you had the United States women's soccer team. They wound up losing. I forget who they lost to, which was a big upset, right? Have you ever watched women's soccer, like World Cup soccer?
Yeah, World Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget. There's something about women's soccer that it's very interesting to me. Like those women,
good.
they freaking are really good.
They're usually the best in the world.
Yes, and that's why it was such a big upset.
Yeah.
And I think they lost pretty early on. Obviously, one of the individuals who is one of the more popular players on the team is Megan Rapinoe, and she's always very vocal about trans rights, everything from the left's perspective, very critical in the United States, all that sort of stuff. And a lot of it stems from, one of the things that I think her beef is that there's not equal pay. Okay, there's not equal pay. So we'll unpack that in a second. This is just a little article, and the title of it. It says, Megan Rapinoe sends clear message to Taylor Swift. All right. So you have two dominant women in their fields. All right. So here's the little snippet of the article. The United States women's national team and superstar Megan Rapinoe have taken a lot of criticism over the past few weeks after they were eliminated from the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. But Rapinoe seems to think that a lot of that criticism is rooted in misogyny. Okay. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think a lot of that criticism is rooted?
No, they're considered the best in the world, and they lost early in the World Cup. You're going to get criticized for that. So shut up. You lost, and take it. You want all the love when you win.
Right.
When you lose, you're going to get the other end of that.
All right. Similar to what pop star Taylor Swift faces. So Rapinoe seems to be saying that Swift faces misogyny as well, okay? So, we can unpack this a little bit further. But during a recent interview with The Atlantic, Megan Rapinoe opened up about the criticism the United States women's national team took throughout this World Cup. And she used the opportunity to praise women like Taylor Swift for fighting what she deserves while still being great at what she does. And Rapinoe quotes, really, what's happening is that the right wing wants this to be true. They want women to believe that you can't fight for things and be excellent. You can't ask for what you deserve and be successful. But the reality is we're doing that Beyonce is doing that. Taylor Swift is doing that. Coco Gauff, who the hell is that? Coco Gauff. Okay.
No clue.
Coco Gauff is doing that. We are still great on the field, and we're fighting for equality. And it's better for our bottom line and the sports. Rapinoe told The Atlantic, and that's
It's better for our bottom line. So that's just money. That's just a money comment.
Okay,
bro. That's just a money comment.
So I was reading this, and I'm like,
It's a money grab.
all right, how much is Megan Rapinoe worth?
I'm sure she's well off.
Okay, she is in the top 1% of the 1% of the United States.
Yeah.
Okay,
And she's still bitching about it.
So now, to be fair, like just to steelman her position, I think she makes, I don't know, around $1 million just from the women's soccer team, and then her endorsements are around like $5 to $6 million per year.
Yeah. And she's talking about Taylor Swift and Beyonce.
Right. Okay. So we're going to get to that in a second. So if she makes, let's just say, $5 million a year, all right, and she's the best in her sport, who compare Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi? Those guys make multiple millions per year, right? And I think that's
hundreds of millions.
Yeah, I think that's part of her beef. Why do these guys make X and I make Y? Why do the men's teams make, C and we make B?
I can answer that.
Please do, my good man.
I can answer that because they cannot do what men do on the field. They don't generate the income that the men's soccer leagues generate.
How dare you?
All right, you want equality, right? It's funny. I just heard Dave Chappelle talk about this on one of his comedy shows. Why the hell do you think there's a WNBA?
Because they can't compete in the NBA?
If everything was equal, women would be in the NBA. And what would happen to women in the NBA?
They would get dunked on?
They would get destroyed.
Yeah. And listen.
The whole reason there's a WNBA is because they cannot compete with the men. Just because the U.S. women's soccer team is better nationally than the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah.
Who do you think would win if they played? U.S. men's versus...
There would be no question.
No question.
There would be no question.
And women's sports it doesn't generate the income that men's sports do.
And really at the bottom line,
that's what it is.
That really is
That's
right
what it
there.
is. Right.
If you had, let's just say in the WNBA, if you had, I don't know how many, what would you say the average viewership for the NBA would be? What do you think?
I mean, it's, I don't know. I'm going to pull it up. And look.
Pull it up because I bet you it's,
it's not even close.
It's not even right.
Yeah.
When you look at an NBA game and you were watching on TV versus a WNBA game, it's like the stands are half empty.
Yeah,
and that's not a knock on the women's team. Like they're freaking they would kick. Everybody's like, oh, they kicked the shit out of you. Damn right, they kicked the shit out of me.
Yeah,
like I'm not a freaking professional athlete. But at the end of the day, we're not comparing that.
Okay,
go ahead, give it.
I got some stats.
Go ahead.
All right, this is NBA versus WNBA, and we just talked about generating income.
Yeah.
So, in revenue, $10 billion for the NBA.
Oh my God.
Compared to $60 million for the WNBA.
Oh my. Okay,
that's
right
enough.
there.
That's enough.
That's your answer.
Yeah.
That's your answer right there.
Yeah. And the average salaries in the NBA are $9.6 million compared to $102,000 for the WNBA, which is a huge difference, but look at the revenue. That
is why. If it was flipped, if the women's team made $10 billion and the guys team made $60 million, they'd be getting paid a hell of a lot more.
They would be. It's about what you bring in.
For sure.
Like my company, when I can only pay people based on what I'm earning.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's
right. Exactly.
If I'm making $10 billion a year,
right.
Guess what? I could pay you pretty well.
You can You're going to pay your chances are, hopefully, you pay your employees pretty well.
We have more stats here.
Go ahead, buddy.
So ticket prices.
Okay.
Average ticket price for an NBA game is $94. Ticket price for a WNBA game is half of that, $47.
There you go.
Highest paid player, $48 million a year for Steph Curry, compared to Jewel Lloyd, who makes $228,000 a year.
Wow.
Now, is there a big difference? Of course.
Huge
but again,
difference.
We're going back to
what you bring in.
What do you bring in?
The sport
That's
brings
$60 million spread out across the whole league.
Exactly, dude. Versus $10 billion spread across the whole league.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference, man.
Here's average viewership. So 2022 NBA Finals. 12.4 million people watched it. The 2022, both 22 NBA Finals. So NBA 12.4 million, 412,000 for the WNBA.
Jeez Louise.
Average attendance 17,184 per game for the NBA compared to 5,000 for the WNBA.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, and right there, that pretty much lays it out.
And the ratings. The NBA Finals had a 7.6 rating, reaching 12.4 million views. And in the highest rated game in the WNBA, it brought in 852,000 views.
Wow.
Compared to 12 million.
Wow. See,
for the finals. Yeah.
Right. Now, here's where I would say she would have a real argument. And maybe she does have more nuance to her position, but she would have a real argument if the women overall did bring in exponentially more than men, and then the men got paid more. Then there'd be a legitimate argument there.
It's all about revenue. Like, you can argue all you want. Nobody's paying you $50 million a year when your league doesn't even generate that kind of income.
Exactly. And the other thing is, now again, I don't know what the FIFA World Cup women's team versus the men's, I don't know all that, but just looking at one other sport.
Just stats.
Yeah. Just
women
looking
versus men.
Looking at a different sport.
You're not going to get
comparable.
equality.
Right. So you have.
I'm not saying there shouldn't be, but you can't have it based on numbers. Right? You're being unrealistic to just think that they could pull that shit out of that.
And then what's upsetting is like, oh, it's rooted in misogyny. No,
it's in numbers. It's in numbers.
Right. Like, and I think that's all you're doing is trying to play to the emotions of people.
Yeah.
And then you're labeling a whole group of other people as like bigoted or racist or misogynistic.
I'm sure there's some of that.
Of course there are.
I'm sure there's some of
it. But that's not what it's rooted in. It just has to do with the freaking actual numbers of everything, right?
If both leagues make the same amount, guess what? You would be getting paid.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The other part, she has Taylor Swift in there. Now, I will say, I do think this is a little messed up. I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift. I'm not a Swiftie. You know, my buddy's a Swiftie. I should be asking. Remember Bob? Bob came on.
Yeah.
Bob's a Swiftie.
Is he?
Yeah. So we should have Bob back on talking about T Swift. He freaking loves Taylor Swift. He's a Swiftie. And I'm pretty sure I have to ask him, but I'm pretty sure that Taylor's original songs, she does not own the rights to her original songs.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure it's the music producers or the studios, which to me, that's kind of fucked up a little bit. Because she wrote those songs, she played those songs, she made all this money for people, and they're owning the rights to it. Now, to be fair, again, to Steelman everything, hey, you signed the paperwork.
Yeah.
You signed you signed it.
That's business.
And I'm pretty sure in that type of industry, that's
common.
A very common thing, right? But hey, take a guess, everybody, of how much Taylor Swift's worth. About $740 million.
Yeah. And then she's comparing Beyonce, who's worth even more.
Even more. I think almost a billionaire between her and Jay-Z.
Oh, they're absolutely billionaires.
Right. So it's like, okay, what are we fighting over?
Why are you using the top 1% of
the
top 0.5% of women?
Right. I don't necessarily feel bad for you per se.
I don't feel bad for any of them.
Now, what I will say is, you know, again, just trying to think of all the gray areas, right? All right, you're a human being. You put all this work into it. Hey, I don't give a shit how much money I'm making. Like, this is my fucking original works of art. Like, I want that. And I'm like, I can understand that.
Then don't sign it over.
No, but what she did do, Taylor Swift, she did re-record, I think, all her original songs and now owns the master copies.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think actually, I just reading something. They did even better than the originals. So I mean, good for you, right? So now, okay,
but that's a choice you could do.
There you go, right? So, but when it comes to like getting paid, and I'm like, I mean, shit.
When you're just coming up, you're gonna take that deal just to
get started.
To get out there.
I mean, I think Taylor Swift did pretty well. I think Rapinoe did pretty well.
A lot of
it looks like Beyonce did pretty fucking well. Yeah. When it comes to monetary, look, if somebody was paying you $6 million a year, would you be fairly happy?
Would I be what?
Would you be fairly happy if somebody's paying? Yeah. I would be to.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
I'll probably sign a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay. You want? Oh, yeah. Sure.
Okay. You want the audio recordings for the podcast?
Yeah.
To own them?
Right.
Take
sure.
them.
And we're gonna make $6 million a year.
And I'll make more audio podcasts
for sure.
Take them.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You know, so
And if anybody wants to pay us $6 million a year to do a podcast,
we're down.
yeah,
I will quit everything else I'm doing.
I'll do this 7 days a week.
Agreed, buddy. Any other thoughts on that, man?
No, man.
Yeah, I just don't. I would have to do a little bit more digging and hear a little bit more interviews with her to see if there's any other gray areas of her position. But I mean, man, like
Equality is a tough thing. Like,
listen, you and I aren't equal, dude.
no one is.
Not really. We should be equal under the law.
Under
And
the
we
law,
are equal under the law.
We are.
You know?
Not everybody is, though, depending on how much wealth you have.
Right. You have a little bit of
That's
more.
a whole
That's a
nother
whole.
podcast.
Oh, dude, that's a great point, man.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're in a elite.
Donald Trump got arrested, got mugshots, everything, charged for racketeering, and walked out of prison 20 minutes later. If that was any of us,
We'd be locked
we would
up.
have been locked down.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Rules for thee and not for me.
Rules for thee.
And not for
That's
me.
right.
So, all right, buddy. Let's wrap it up, my man.
Words of wisdom with digital slang. Today's words of wisdom: tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn.
That's right, baby.
Ben Franklin.
Oh, Ben Franklin. All right. That's like the idea, the biblical parable. What is it? If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching. This is Bourbon and Blunts. I am Jimmy the J.
Slang.
And again, check us out on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can also support on Spotify for 99 cents per month, up to $9.99 a month. And you can find us on most social media platforms as well.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and watching. We'll catch you next time.
Deuces.
Bye.